The first practical that we're doing today is practical number 2. I don't know if you can see that in the camera at all.
You can see it.
But as you can tell there, practical number 2 consists of a light receptacle as well as a switch with the power coming in at the switch. Okay. When doing this, we kind of talked about it before. The first thing that you should do is get everything lined up. For the purpose of this, I care more about the way the board's setting and the way it's marked on the paper. So your switch is going to be located here, your receptacle here, your light is going to be located here. Okay? The second key thing that they're always going to give you where they want the stuff. That's easy enough. You shouldn't miss any points on that. That's not difficult to do. The second key point is that you must be able to realize where your power is coming in at. If you do that incorrectly, the entire thing is wrong. So you have to start over again. The power is going to start on this side of the box on number 2. Okay? So I'm going to eventually get that stuck in there like that. And that's taken care of. Okay? From that point on, we begin to wire. Now, remember as you're doing this, speed is important. But more importantly, it is important to get it done correctly. Now remember the things that I've taught you on that. Whenever you're going to stick your wire through there, especially on the first box, go ahead and strip it out. Make sure you have plenty of extra wire so that you don't have any problems doing pigtails or connecting to any of your receptacles. Okay, so that's going to go in right here. I don't know why I'm having such trouble today. It goes there, line it up there. I'm going to go ahead and strip it outside the box. Remember now, you can't be wimpy. Once you do cut it, you got to be able to pull that off from there to save time. Okay, you notice here, now I run a wire to my receptacle. The reason I ran the wire to the receptacle is why? Because of the fact that my power is coming in here. For a receptacle to work, you must be able to run power to it, otherwise it's going to be dead. Okay? I could not have run the wire to the light box and to here. It wouldn't have worked. Okay? I couldn't have, well, that's the only way I can picture you doing it. You have to have 3 wires in this instance. The power in, the power going to the receptacle, and the wire going to the light itself. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off that wire. This one I'm going to cut.
We're allowed to ask questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm confused on why you couldn't take it to the light switch
and then to the
first.
receptacle. Why can you not do that?
Because your receptacle has to always be hot, and then it's going from the switch, so that means you'll be turning the receptacle on and off, right?
That's exactly right. Whenever you run the hot wire to the light, that becomes a switch leg. Unless you want your light on all the time, and who wants their light on all the time? Nobody does. So what you're going to run into when you do that is, it's not going to work, because if I tie the black wire and the black wire together and ran a wire from inside the light box down and into there, the receptacle would switch with the light, which is obviously something we don't want. Okay, so that's why we wouldn't do it that way. That's tight. I don't know why that was tight. Okay, bring this over here. Go ahead and notch it out. Make sure you can still see all this on the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Alright, I have now ran, or about to have ran, all my wires. Now, in an instance like this, what would you suggest? What's my first course of action?
Say that again?
You didn't take that little thing off.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that off.
What do I do first?
Connect the power.
Remember, it's time constraint, right?
Yeah.
So I come over here and wire the stuff that I can't screw up on.
Okay.
Ground goes in the bottom of the box because there's nowhere attached to the light.
Doesn't matter.
Go ahead and strip these wires here. Remember, you're attaching them directly onto a light So you want to make sure that I don't have needle nose. Would somebody go get me a decent pair of needle nose?
Can I scoot the camera up a little bit?
Can you what?
Scoot the camera up a little bit, because
Does it matter how long?
Yeah, I want it recording, so you move it up.
yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter how long the ground wire can be? Because
No.
if you cut the neutral and the hot wire, and you just didn't cut the ground, so you just stuck it down in there, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter?
It's supposed to be 6 inches, but they're not going to measure that.
That was 6 to 8.
6 to 8. Okay, now, on this, the only thing you have to remember on the light that they could count off for you is the hot or the black, also known as a common, will go under the gold screw. The neutral will go under the silver screw. You're going to pull those, wrap them around, use your needle nose to pull it tight, always moving in a clockwise direction. Shove it back down there, do not attach it. Okay, once again, I move to my second easiest one, which is located over here. It's just a single 3-wire. I'm going to cut it off at about 6 inches. Strip my hot and my neutral.
And how much would you strip them normally?
This is how much I strip them. Okay, that's just from experience of wiring multiple plugs, multiple switches. That's about what it requires to do it properly. Okay, now this is not a very good fold. It's a little big in terms of the circle. That's a good fold. That's a good fold. Notice after I fold them, I always lay them down to the left. I start with the ground side. I have no idea why. It's just the way I've always done it. It does not matter. You're not going to get counted off if you don't. If you start with the other side, remember you have to get them pulled in. Sometimes you have to use your finger to kind of move this wire around so that you can get a hold of the wire so that you can crimp it around. Now, after we get done, we'll look at it and I'll judge it. Like I said, I'm making sure that I get done within the time allotted, and that means I'm trying to move quickly. I believe it to be 15 minutes.
And then you'll have plenty of time.
20 minutes at the most. They say you have 60 minutes to complete all 3 tasks: the written exam, the ID, as well as the test part. Okay, this is the first part that I've actually had to use my brain. I've got a wire here going to my light. I have a wire going to my receptacle, which is moving around on me. I hate not stapling. And then I have a hot coming in. What do I do first?
You connect the power and the receptacle wire you picked
No.
up.
What do I do first?
The ground wires?
Okay.
Ground wires, very good. Why do I do the ground wires first?
All you do is you just tie them together and
Very good.
it's the easiest.
It is easiest no matter what kind of box you're in. You always just take the grounds, put them together, take your linemen, tighten them down. Do you always need a ground sticking off?
No.
Yes, even if you don't connect it to the outlet like we did in the light, you still need a single ground wire sticking off.
I thought you meant
Because
the
later,
extras.
I could come back and add a fan, and my fan needed a ground.
So we just...
Okay.
I thought you meant the extras. Like, do we need the extras?
No. Okay, after I do that, I'm going to put the wire nut down, and I'm going to tighten the wire nut down just like that, and shove it down into the box. Okay? Now, what's the next thing I'm going to do?
Neutrals?
Neutrals. What do I do with the neutrals?
Tie them together and stick them in the box.
Why do I tie them together and stick them in the box?
Because you don't need them on a switch.
You do not need a neutral on a switch. That is exactly correct. Okay, cut them off all at the same length. Now, I like to strip them a little extra. I know that I don't need them stripped this far, but you can always cut them off, and it allows you to have a nice clean makeup, a nice clean twist. You notice my fingers are located down here on the wire. That's to stop the wire from twisting so that the top